So welcome everybody to Logi 101. This class is going to teach you about the basics of flying Logi, their role in a fleet, how to follow broadcasts, set up your watch list, and then we'll do some practical stuff in an actual fleet where I'm going to be shooting you guys and you need to be on point repping each other. So first we'll start off, what is Logi? Logi is just short for logistics ships, which are just like the healers in EVE. You can either rep shield or armor to friendlies. Since we're a shield alliance primarily, we'll pretty much only be flying shield Logi. For frigates, that's Bantams and Bursts. Tech 2 frigates are Kurans and Scalpels. Cruisers are Scythe and Osprey. And then Tech 2 Logi cruisers are Scimitar and Basilisk. Primarily we use the Caldari ones, which is Osprey and Basilisk and Kurans. So there's the different Logi ships. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. You don't have any weapons. Instead, you just have remote repairs in your highs. All you have to do is lock a friendly target and then activate your repair. Shield reps will immediately heal your target as soon as you activate the module, unlike armor reps, which will repair at the end of the cycle. So shield reps are a bit easier to use. The only real different type of Logi that you'll be flying is Ospreys and Bazzies, because they run a special type of fit called cap chaining fits. So normal Logi ships, like Logi frigates and stuff, you just fly your own ship and you rep whatever's taking damage, and that's it. And you just have to watch your capacitor to make sure that you're not running out of capacitor while you're repping. Because I think most of those fits, if you run all of your reppers constantly, you'll run out of cap eventually. For the Ospreys, though, they do cap chaining, which is where they fit some remote capacitor transmitters as well. And the perk of that module is that you repair, or you give more cap to your ally than you spend. So if you activate those modules on each other, it gives both of you a lot more cap. So all Ospreys will always be cap chained. So they will pretty much always be at full capacitor, so you can always run all your reppers. And it ends up being more heals per second, overall, as long as you keep your cap chain up. And we'll practice that as well. So everybody go ahead and undock here. We're going to set up broadcasts and watch lists. Yeah, go ahead and undock and just sit, stop your ship. All right, so we'll do watch list first, I guess. Your watch list allows you to keep track of the health of your fleet mates and access them easily without having to use like the fleet window or the overview. So to add someone to your watch list, you open your fleet menu or fleet window, go to the My Fleet tab, right-click my name at the very top for them, and click Add to Watch List. You can add, yeah, for them. You can watch list people individually, or you can watch list entire groups. So try right-clicking Squad 1, and then click Add Squad Members to Watch List. You can add a whole squad at once. Now you should have like 10 people on your watch list, or 9, I guess, since you're not included. Also on your watch list, you can color code people's entries. So at the very right side of each entry, oh, hang on, it shouldn't be there by default. Click the hamburger menu in the top left of the watch list and click color edit mode. That should bring up a little color picker on the very right side of each entry in the watch list, and you can set colors for different people. That's very helpful to sort of identify, why you've added each person to your watch list. So I'll color my anchors a different color than, the important people. Usually as Logi, you're going to be watch listing just the important ships. So of course your anchors and FCs, but also, maybe dictors, maybe the tackle, maybe the link boats, or other random expensive ships. They're going to be on your watch list. So feel free to color code that however you like. Um, Notice that it also lets you see the health, armor, and hull of the ships without having to lock them. That's the other primary benefit. You can see when they start taking damage and react accordingly. It'll also show you their ship type at the very left, um, which usually isn't really that helpful, actually. So, as Logi, you're always going to want to have your watch list pretty much maxed out if possible. You can only put 15 on at a time. So if you got less than 15, just put everyone on your watch list. If you got more than 15, you got to sort of prioritize the important ships. Uh, yeah, go ahead. No, if you try to add more than 15, it'll just add the first 15. Yeah, which usually is not really what you want. Also, in most fleets, the FC will tell you who to watch list, and they'll also tell snowflakes to S up. Snowflakes just refers to expensive or important ships, and they'll type something in fleet so you can add them to watch list. And if you ever don't know, just ask, FC, who should I add to the watch list? They'll always tell you that. Let me see. Is it Zidane? Zidane, are you undocked? Okay, yeah, that'll be it. You can only see the status of other people's ships if they are on the same grid as you. So if they're in a different system, or they're off grid, or they're docked, or whatever else, you won't be able to see them. So it should show up now. Cool. So that's watch list. Next, we'll set up broadcasts. So open your fleet window up again, click the hamburger menu in the top left, and click broadcast settings. This part, yeah, the fleet window. And this should open up a list of all the different types of broadcasts. As Logi, you want to make sure you have checked need shield, need capacitor, and need armor. Um, well, don't broadcast right now, but just make sure you have these enabled. Also, you should color code these broadcasts so that they'll be easy to distinguish. I think the Alliance standard was set target to red, shield to green, capacitor to yellow, and something. I don't know. I don't have the standard set up, but I'm sure it's on some wiki somewhere. I personally set up in a different way that makes it clearer to me. Just as long as you have those checked and you can see them, that's really important for Logi because these broadcasts are usually the only way that you're going to know who to rep. Yep. Yeah, it stays until you change it. So what you can do if you want to make it easier on yourself is set it up for Logi right now, and then in the bottom right you can set a name for this setting pack or whatever. Call it like Logi or something, and then drag the share button in the bottom right into like a notepad entry and save it somewhere. Then when you click that link from now on, it'll load this Logi pack. So you can load a Logi pack, a DPS pack, or whatever else pack. Um, well, we'll just do it right here. So, do you have your broadcast setting window open? No, click the hamburger menu in the top left, and then click broadcast settings. Yeah, so this is where you can check to see which broadcast you want to filter, and also set their colors. Yeah, so for Logi, you're going to want to check need shield, need armor, need capacitor, and then color code those however you want as well. I want to make sure everybody has this set up because if you can't see broadcast as Logi, you're not useful in a fleet. So in the bottom right, there's you can set the name of this like settings pack by just clicking on the thing to the left of the share button. So mine currently says like 4 ohms broadcast settings. I can click that and change it to whatever else. No, no, no. Just changing the name will, well, it'll just change the name of that pack. To actually save it, you drag the share button in the bottom right into anywhere. Like it could be a chat window. I save them in a notepad note so I can access them easily. That's also how you can share them with other people. So wherever you drag that, if you click the link that is generated, it'll load the settings into your settings. Yeah, shoot. Oh, yeah, I'll be explaining cap chaining in a second. Um, yeah, so does everybody have their broadcast set up? Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, there's an in-game notepad accessory, so click the Neocom in the top left, go to Utilities and Notepad. You can make different notes and save stuff in here, and this works with in-game links, so that's where I keep my overview settings and broadcast settings. Anyone having trouble still? All right, cool. Just make sure that if you got to have these two things set up here, because these both are very important for Logi. It'll be hard to move on if you don't have these set up correctly, so speak up if you don't. Yep, once you set it how you like, you can close it, it'll save. Um, yeah, no. As Logi is pretty much the windows that you always want to have open is, well, your overview, of course, your fleet window open to the history tab. So here's the other part of the broadcast, which is how to see them. So always have your fleet window open while in a fleet and have it in the history tab. Under filters, select broadcast history. This is where you'll see all the broadcasts. So I'm going to broadcast for Shield right now, and you should see it color coded however you set it. Does anyone not see that? Great. So that's primarily where you're going to be loging from. So if I broadcasted for Shield there, for example, you would immediately lock me up and start repping me if I'm damaged. So I want everybody to try that right now. Lock me from the history window and start repping me. You can just hold control and left click my broadcast to lock me from there. Awesome. Okay. You can go ahead and stop repping. Um, the other side is that you'll want to know how to broadcast. If you've already taken the Fleet 101 class, you already know, but there's two ways to broadcast. Well, the first way is there should be a row of buttons on the bottom of your fleet window. If there's not, then click the two chevrons at the very bottom right of the fleet window to pop up the row of bars. And then the third button is broadcast need shield, so you can click that to broadcast. So everybody try clicking that right now. Great. That's the hard way because clicking such a tiny button in a fleet fight is usually pretty hard. The easy way, press escape, go to the shortcuts tab, navigation tab, and then bind something to the broadcast need shield hotkey. Make it something relatively easy to hit, but also something you won't hit accidentally. I have mine set to Shift S for shield. Navigation tab, and then you want to set a hotkey for broadcast need shield. And then you can go and close your settings. So now everybody try broadcasting for shield with your hotkey, not with the little button. If anyone's having any trouble, speak up. Great. I think that's everyone. All right, so let's see. That's watch list. That's broadcasts. Generally in a fleet, as Logi, you'll probably get shot first. That's just how it works because it's always best to take out the healers first when you're fighting other fleets. So be prepared for that. Make sure you broadcast for shield as soon as the entire enemy fleet yellow boxes you. Yellow, not red, because yellow means they're all locking you, and red means they're all firing at you. You want to broadcast early once you're mass yellow boxed so that your friendly Logi has time to lock you up. If you broadcast when they're already shooting you, you may not survive. So broadcast early and prepare to be targeted first a lot as Logi. Right now, cap chains. This one applies only to Ospreys, which I think I have at least two, right? Yeah, I got Jerome and Corey. Oh, and Stealthy, awesome. So I'm going to link a channel for any fleet that has Osprey or any cap chaining Logi. There will be a channel like this, not this one, but something like it. I linked it in fleet. It's called Brave Ospreys 2. If you're in an Osprey, and only if you're in an Osprey, join that fleet or join that channel. Once you have that channel window open, make sure click the settings and set show member list so you can see who's in there. This window will automatically organize people alphabetically by their name. So as Ospreys, you have two cap chain buddies, which is someone that you're sending cap to and receiving cap from. The way to find them is just in this list, go one up and one down from your name. If you're at the top, then your one up is going to be the very last member. If you're at the bottom, then your one down is going to be the very top member. So those two people, you always want to have them on your watch list color-coded uniquely. I have them right after the anchors. And I have them set to, I think, yellow, because yellow looks like capacitor. Uh, and those are your cap chain buddies. So you want to make sure that any time that you're not like warping somewhere, just lock both of them up and give each of them one cap. Uh, since it is like a cap chain, everyone's reliant on everyone else. So if one person breaks the chain, it's eventually going to cause problems for everyone. So I want everybody, all the Ospreys right now, to practice your cap chain. Oh, Stealthy, can you lock up the Citadel, the soda factory, real quick? Cool. Um, so identify your two cap chain buddies, which is one up and one down alphabetically for you in that Logi channel, and then give each of them one capacitor transmitter. So I want everybody, all the Ospreys, to verify above your your health display. There should be a little blue icon showing capacitor transfer. Hover over it and make sure that you're getting capacitor from two people. Is it working for everybody? Uh, so uh, it's hard for me to tell without being in the channel myself. Let me check real quick. So Corey, your cap chain buddies are Jerome and Stealth. Jerome, your cap chain buddies. Oh well, there's only three of you, so your cap chain buddies are just the other two people. Jerome and who? You don't need a separate window. Just put them on your watch list and color code them something unique. Because every time you take a gate, every time you warp somewhere, you have to reset your cap chain up. It's one. So alphabetically, like look in the member list of that Brave Ospreys 2 channel. It sorts it alphabetically automatically. Yeah, I shouldn't. I normally wouldn't be in here. Only Ospreys would normally be in this channel. But you go like one up from your name. Yeah, normally there will be more Ospreys, and you have to find your 2 cat buddies. But since we only have 3 here, it makes it easy. So your buddies are Sarome and Corey. Lock each of them up and then give each of them 1 capacitor. Let me know when y'all have the cap chain set up. You having any troubles? All right. And cool. Also, Drax, remind me after the class ends to link you the whisper key thing. There's this mumble setup you have to do. All right, so the Ospreys are cap chained up correctly? All right, so you guys have to do this every time after you warp, since modules disable the warp. You have to do it every time you take a gate. Basically, just if you can lock the other Ospreys, then you need to be cap chained. Even if like your 5 jumps out from any enemies, it's always good to have the cap chain up. All right, so that's the end of cap chains. So everybody else, thanks for sticking around, even though it didn't apply to you. It should say on the module. Uh, yeah. So the cap chain one, you can go pretty far, but you really shouldn't. You should all be anchored on whoever you need to be anchored on. The reps themselves, I think, are just get less effective the farther you go. So um, yeah, just be aware of that. Normally, you don't have to worry about your range. It'll be either the FC or the Logi anchor who worries about your range. All right, so now we're going to do a bit of practical stuff. We're going to warp off somewhere, and then I'm going to start shooting some of you. And if you are the one getting shot, you need to broadcast for shields. Everyone else, you need to be repping the person who broadcasts. I'm not going to tell you who I'm shooting, and you should wait for their broadcast to start repping. So once we land Ospreys, set up your cap chain again. Everyone anchor on me, which means keep at range on me at 500. Yeah, do that now. Yes, you do. It works just like a weapon. You have to lock them, click on them, and then uh, activate the module. For your cap chain buddies, though, it stays active. So after you set it up, you can just drag their icons over somewhere where you won't get confused and just leave that running. You can just hold control and then click on them. Yep. You can do anything from the watch list. Hold control, click to lock, hold E, click to anchor, hold W, click to orbit, Q, click to approach, whatever. Yeah, the watch list is very handy, especially for Logi. All right. Yes, you always have cap chain up. You always have cap chain up, even when you're repping. The cap chain is what keeps your capacitor up and gives you enough capacitor to rep. So you should always have capacitor cap chain running. Also, Silver and Corey, make sure you're anchored on me. Keep it range 500. Yep, it's just hold E and then click. That's keep at range. Most anchors will be keep at range. Easiest to do from the watch list. Yep. All right, everybody's anchored here, so I'm going to start hitting people. If you get hit, broadcast, and hopefully you'll receive reps from everyone else. Make sure you're paying attention to red boxes and your health. All right, I see people repping him, but I didn't see a broadcast. Nate, make sure you broadcast when you're getting hit. All right, cool. No worries. Stealthy, make sure you're staying anchored on me. You should be seeing like Nate Artald and Silver Puntoy have broadcasts out. Why are my drones still hitting Nate? That's weird. I did not tell them to do that. Yep, no worries. Do try to make sure that you don't uh, false broadcast in an actual fleet, though. Stealthy, make sure you're broadcasting when you get hit. All right, there you go. Everybody rep Stealthy. You should be getting a lot more reps than that. That is, it's really hard to say. You have to sort of decide that for yourself. If it's like the FC getting hit, put everything on him, or if it's a special snowflake getting hit, yeah. JJ Dread, yep. Cap will drain fast if you're not in a cap chain if you have all the reppers running. So you have to manage your capacitor as well. Who are you not getting cap from? Oh, okay, hold on. I'm pulling in my drones. Ospreys, make sure you always have your cap chain running because otherwise you'll run out of cap really fast. Oh, Stealthy, you're giving cap to me, which you don't need to do. Make sure you're giving cap only to your cap chain buddies. Let me know when y'all have the cap chain set up again. Stealthy, stop your remote cap on me. It looks like it's stopped now, yep. So make sure you give it back to your cap chain buddies. Drag the icons for your cap buddies off somewhere else where you won't get confused. Like when you lock them, you see their portrait, right, and their health and stuff. You can move that around. You don't want to get your cap chain buddies confused with like enemies or with people who need reps, because then you're going to mess up your modules. Your modules only get damaged if you overheat them too much. You shouldn't be heating right now. Yeah, no, you don't need to repair them. We're not gonna need heat. Just yeah, make sure you have it unheated for now. In an actual fleet, if the person you're repping isn't holding, just start heating your modules. Also, sorry, the frigates, you don't have to use the cap boosters here. This is just practice, so you feel free to just use one repper as practice. All right, is Osprey set up back up? Stealthy, are you given one cap to each of Corey and Sarome? Okay, so do you have Corey and Sarome locked up? Yeah, Stealthy, do you have Corey and Sarome locked? Okay, so where you locked them, you see there's like a portrait of their ship, shows their name, the distance and health and stuff. Normally in like the top right of the screenish. All right, so you can drag those around, like drag them down a bit to separate them from the rest of your locked targets. This way, like you can keep them separate from the other targets that you need to attack or rep or whatever, because your cap chain should always be running. So once you have them separated off, just select each of them and give them each one remote cap. Um, I mean, you can just make some room for them with your other windows or just drag them somewhere else. Okay. Um, yeah, that's how I always set mine up. It's anchor slash FCs are first. The two cap chain buddies are after that, colored yellow, and then other important ships are after that. So Stealthy, go ahead and just give one remote cap to each of them, and we'll continue here. Yeah, so select Corey and press your remote cap module, and then select Jerome and activate your other module, and they'll stay on their original target until you turn them off. Awesome. Okay, great. So it's all set up. Yeah, so just don't deactivate those modules, and Orion, make sure you're anchored up. Yeah, just leave those running until just leave those running. All right, I'm going to continue hitting some people. If you get hit, make sure you broadcast for reps. Broadcast as soon as you start getting hit. In this case, nice. Everyone else, make sure you're watching the history window. It is possible to rep just through watch lists and small fleets, but generally it's not your responsibility to notice when people are taking damage. It is the DPS ship's responsibility to broadcast when they're hit. So don't spend too much time staring at your watch list. That's true generally. Rely primarily on your history tab to find rep targets. Zidane has just broadcasted just now. Do you not see it in your history tab? Okay, click the link that I just posted in Fleet, and then load that overview pack or broadcast pack. It's in the Fleet window, the Fleet chat window. Do you see it? All right. So did you load up the pack? Awesome. Do you see the broadcast now then? Uh, so you're not seeing them? Okay, great, great. Okay, we're gonna continue. I'm gonna split DPS a bit now, so you guys have to watch and check. Is anyone close to dying? Rep them first. Is anyone taking a lot of DPS? Rep them. For now, you don't have to worry about which ship is more important or whatever. You just broadcasted for capacitor there, Stealthy. Make sure it's the shield one. There you go. Generally in fleets, there shouldn't really be more than 2 people maybe at a time taking damage. But I'm going to attack 3 at once just to make this hard. Actually, I'm going to attack 4 people at once. Orion, make sure you're not broadcasting when you don't need reps. Because especially when there's multiple people getting hit, it's going to confuse the Logi. Yep, it's working. Alright, I'm going to stop hitting a bunch of people at once now. There is one other thing. For Ospreys, since you guys have so much excess cap, sometimes you will be used as a cap battery for other people. So make sure you're broadcasting here. So like if I as the FC or some other important ship is running out of capacitor, we might broadcast for cap. And then in that case, what you do is you take one, or you stop your capacitor remotes for 1 cycle and give the requester 1 cycle of your remote cap and then set up your cap chain again. So this one's pretty difficult because it requires you to, fiddle with your remote cap and your cap chain in the middle of a fight. But it's definitely good practice. So I'm going to request for capacitor here. I want you all to stop your remote cap transmitters, give me 1 cycle, and then set up your normal cap chain again. So there's my broadcast. FC's running low on cap. I want 1 cycle from each of you. Alright, I've got Seromes. Got Corey's. Got Stealthies. Alright, great, great. And then make sure you set your cap chain up back correctly after this. Since you have so much excess, losing 1 cycle doesn't really fuck up your cap chain. but make sure you only do one cycle because more than that might suck you dry. I'm going to recall my drones here, so the damage is going to stop. That's pretty much it for Logi. The primary things is just set up your watch list correctly, set up your broadcast correctly, and make sure you're anchored. And then for Ospreys, additionally, you have to watch for cap chain and cap broadcasts. The rest of Logi is kind of just trying to determine which one you should rep, when you should heat your modules, when you should take drugs. Those all come from experience mostly. Sometimes you will not be anchored on the FC in bigger fights. You will have a specialized Logi anchor, which is just you anchor on him instead of the FC because they don't want to have the Logi with the main fleet. Usually because you'll get targeted first, and they don't want to lose Logi that early. Khalik, I mean we're pretty much done here. Uh, yeah, no worries. This is recorded. It'll be put up on the YouTube channel. But I mean, anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I mean, no one's gonna reject you from a fleet, but Logi is always welcome. Like Logi's great. There are generally not enough Logi pilots. Also, Logi ships get higher SRP than other ships. Like if you lose it in a sanctioned fleet, you get a lot more money back. E by default. Yeah, hold E, and make sure you're not like in another window. So like click in space somewhere first, and then hold E, and then click somewhere. Yeah, silver SRP's it's a bit slow sometimes. Uh, no, keep it. Uh, more Logi's always welcome. Take this warp back to the soda, and you can go ahead and dock up, and we're gonna stand down. I'll stick around in case anyone has any questions, but that is gonna be it for this class. Thanks everybody for coming, and I want to see you in Logi on my fleets.